Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we cut through the noise and get you truly well-informed on fascinating topics. Today, we're plunging into something really special in the world of wine. A grape with, well, a long, captivating history and a surprising modern twist. We're talking about Ribolla Gialla. So we're going on a deep dive into this incredible white grape varietal. It's from the Friuli-Venezia Giulia region up in northeast Italy. And this isn't just about, what's in your glass. It's really a journey through centuries of history, some unique geology, and a story of both really deep-rooted tradition and surprisingly bold innovation, all bottled up in this one grape.
Exactly.
Our mission today is to figure out why Ribolla Gialla is, well, becoming recognized as a white jewel on the global stage. We'll explore its ancient roots, its deep connection to the land, its incredibly versatile winemaking styles, including those maybe sometimes misunderstood orange wines.
Definitely misunderstood, yeah.
Ultimately, what it all means for, your next unforgettable glass.
And what's truly compelling here is that Friuli-Venezia Giulia, it's basically a hidden treasure trove of indigenous grapes. So many of them are still, frankly, underestimated globally. Ribolla Gialla, though, it really stands out, not just for its millennial history, but for its inherent qualities. You've got this vibrant acidity, a really distinct minerality, and just remarkable adaptability. It lets it produce everything from those crisp, fresh whites to those truly fascinating orange wines we're going to get into.
Right.
It's more than just a grape, It's kind of an emblem of resilience, a living link between the past and the future of winemaking in Friuli.
Okay, let's unpack that millennial history then. You mentioned ancient roots, and it really is ancient. We're talking like back to antiquity, big Roman influence on viticulture in Friuli. But here's something really surprising. Ribolla Gialla. It's actually one of Italy's oldest documented
grapes.
We have written records.
Yeah.
Think about that. Going back to the 13th century, specifically 1296, mentioned in notary documents from Rosasso. It was even apparently a favorite of the Patriarch of Aquileia. So what do you think allowed a grape like this to survive, centuries of changes, wars, even stuff like phylloxera, when so many others just disappeared?
That's a great question. And it really speaks to the grape's innate resilience and its deep connection to this specific place, this terroir. I mean, sure, there are legends. Maybe the Romans or Greeks brought it. Some say Caucasian roots. But the theory most people accept is that it's indigenous, native to eastern Friuli and nearby Slovenia, where they call it Ribolla. Actually, the name Ribolla might even come from riblir, which is Slovenian for fish, kind of hinting at watery origins.
Interesting.
This grape was huge, prestige-wise, back in the 14th, 15th centuries. But yeah, like you said, it faced incredibly tough times. The 19th century brought phylloxera, this tiny, devastating vine louse.
Just wipe things out.
Completely.
Right.
Wiped out vineyards all over Europe. Then you had the World Wars pushing it aside again. People started planting more productive international grapes, Pinot Grigio, Sauvignon Blanc. But here's the inspiring part. From the second half of the 20th century, thanks to some really visionary producers who believed in its authenticity, Ribolla Gialla had this notable renaissance. It's a real story of survival and rediscovery.
It almost sounds like the grape has its own story of overcoming adversity, doesn't it? Surviving phylloxera, now pioneering orange wines.
Right.
It's constantly adapting. But you mentioned its deep connection to the land. How profoundly does Friuli-Venezia Giulia's unique geology and climate really shape this grape?
Oh, it's everything, honestly. Friuli-Venezia Giulia is this incredible tapestry of contrasts. Geographically, climatically, think about it. You've got the Alps to the north, like a giant shield, right? Yeah. Blocking cold air, holding onto warmth. This creates really significant daily temperature swings, cool nights, sunny days, and that's absolutely crucial for slow, steady ripening. It means you get beautifully balanced acidity and those really refined, complex aromatics. Then down south, you've got the Adriatic Sea. That brings a maritime influence. Milder winters, warm summers, you've got the Bora wind, this dry, cold breeze from the northeast. It's fantastic for ventilating the vines, keeping fungal diseases down. And then there's the Sirocco, a warm, humid wind from the southeast, brings helpful moisture when it's dry. Plus, the rivers Isonzo, Tagliamento, Torre, they carve valleys, deposit rich soils, provide moisture, moderate local temperatures. It creates all these specific little microclimates. But the real magic, I think the secret weapon for Ribolla Gialla, it's got to be the soil.
Ponca.
And it's not just, any dirt. It's this really singular geological formation, remnants of an ancient sea. It's made of alternating layers of marl that's like a clay limestone rock and sandstone. The marl is great for holding water and nutrients. It really gives the wine structure, minerality. The sandstone, on the other hand, gives excellent drainage, aeration that contributes to the elegance, the delicate aromas. And here's the fascinating bit. Ponca is naturally nutrient poor.
Which sound bad.
Right, but it isn't. It's the secret to the intensity. It forces the vines to dig really deep roots, like a direct line to the earth's mineral signature. So yeah, you get lower yields, fewer grapes. But what you get is this explosion of concentrated flavor and that signature vibrant acidity in every single berry. This whole combination, soil, climate, it profoundly shapes Ribolla Gialla. Gives it that distinct minerality like whetstone, chalk, maybe flint, plus those vibrant kind of saline notes and that characteristic bright acidity.
That's fascinating. It really is almost counterintuitive, isn't it? That scarcity in the soil actually leads to more concentration, more character in the wine. It's a real testament to how terroir shapes everything.
Yeah.
So, okay, we've covered its ancient history, the unique land. But what about the grape itself? What are its defining characteristics that allow for all this versatility in the winery?
Yeah, it's nature forcing the vine to really express the soil, not just rely on easy nutrients. As for the grape, well, Ribolla Gialla tends to ripen medium to late. Harvest is usually mid to late September, sometimes early October in Friuli. And this longer hang time, that's key. It helps maintain its naturally high acidity, which is like one of its most valuable features.
So is that later ripening keeping the acidity high? And you mentioned earlier those thick skins. That thickness must be crucial, right?
Right.
Especially for the orange wine style.
Precisely. The clusters are small to medium and pretty compact. That can make them a bit prone to fungal diseases, unfortunately. Which means vineyard management is absolutely key. The grape naturally wants to produce high yields, so growers have to be really meticulous. They do things like short pruning, green harvesting.
What's green harvesting exactly?
It's basically going through early and snipping off some grape bunches, reduces the yield, concentrates quality in what's left.
Got it. Like focusing the vine's energy.
Exactly. And because the clusters are compact, canopy management is vital too. Things like leaf pulling dysphola helps with air circulation and sun exposure, preventing disease. It's like tailoring the vine's environment perfectly for the fruit. You're also seeing a big move towards sustainable, organic, biodynamic practices now. Less chemicals, more focus on biodiversity. It's all about letting that unique terroir shine through.
Okay, so here's where it gets really interesting, I think. The incredible versatility in winemaking. You hinted at this, but how does the winemaker, the enologist, really act as an interpreter for this grape?
Well, it's all about making those critical choices. From the moment the grapes are picked, right through to the bottle. It's like guiding the grape's natural personality into different expressions. Let's look at the main styles you might find. First up, the classic fresh whites. For these, winemakers usually go for cool fermentation in stainless steel tanks, maybe around 14, 18 Celsius.
Okay. Why steel?
It's all about preserving that raw purity, the grape's vivacity, that distinct minerality, those delicate primary aromas, citrus, green apple, maybe some acacia flower. The goal is a young, vibrant wine, meant to be enjoyed pretty much right away.
Makes sense. Crisp and clean.
Exactly. Then you have textured whites. Here, winemakers might use the sur-lie technique.
The sur-lie, that's on the lees, right? The yeast.
Precisely. Extended contact with the fine lees, the inactive yeast particles. Sometimes they'll do batonish too, that's gently stirring the lees up. This often happens in concrete tanks, which are fascinating, actually. They allow tiny bits of oxygen in, like oak, but without adding any oaky flavor.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. This process adds a creamy, sort of unctuous texture. And more complex aromas, think toasted bread, brioche, nutty notes. Plus, it helps stabilize the wine. And then we arrive at the orange wines. Now, I have to admit, when I first heard orange wine, I was completely confused.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think is the biggest misconception people have about that style?
Oh, you're definitely not alone there. So many people think, maybe it's sweet or made from oranges.
Right.
Or just like super funky or something. My first taste of an orange Ribolla Gialla was a real aha moment.
Yeah.
It totally redefined what I thought a white wine could be. So what's the actual process behind this style?
That's the perfect way to put it. It really challenges perceptions. The orange wine style, it's actually a historical revival. It's the most emblematic expression for Ribolla Gialla, really. Yeah. The process is all about prolonged maceration. That means the white grape skins ferment with the juice, the must, for weeks, sometimes months, sometimes even over a year.
Wow, that long.
Yeah. Traditionally, producers might use large, old oak barrels, used ones, so not much oak flavor or clay amphory. You might hear the term kvevrý from Georgia. Often they rely on indigenous yeasts, the ones naturally present, and there's no artificial temperature control. It's a very hands-off, sort of natural approach.
And the impact, what does that do to the wine?
It's profound, visually and sensorially. The color itself is striking intense, golden, deep amber, often with orange glints. And you get tannins. Subtle, maybe, but definitely perceptible tannins. It gives it what you might call a white, tannic body. Structure you don't usually get in whites.
Tannins in a white wine.
Yes,
Fascinating.
isn't it? Aromatically, it's a whole different world. Complex evolution, notes of dried fruits, apricot, fig, orange peel, honey, black tea, nuts, exotic spices like ginger, maybe saffron. You can get earthy notes too, or controlled oxidative hints. And crucially, that naturally vibrant acidity, it's generally preserved. It provides the backbone for all that richness and complexity. It's a real paradox, right? It's so textured, yet so vibrant.
Definitely sounds complex.
And one more thing, Ribolla Gialla's high acidity also makes it excellent for sparkling wines, usually made using the Metodo Classico, the traditional method, just like champagne.
Ah, so bubbles too.
Yep, you get fine, persistent bubbles, delicate aromas, green apples, citrus, maybe some brioche from the yeast contact, and a really refreshing, elegant palate. And just quickly on malolactic fermentation, or FML, that's where sharp malic acid turns into softer lactic acid. Winemakers choose whether to allow it or block it.
Why choose?
Well, allowing FML gives softer acidity, more creaminess, maybe nutty or buttery notes. Blocking it keeps the acidity sharper, the character fresher. Interestingly, with orange wines, because of the long skin contact, FML often just happens spontaneously.
All right, so we've covered the history, the land, the winemaking techniques. Let's bring it back to the glass. What can someone actually expect when they taste Ribolla Gialla? What are the different sensory profiles?
Okay, it really depends on the style you pick up. If it's a fresh Ribolla Gialla, expect bright aromas, lemon, grapefruit, green apple, maybe acacia flowers. And that distinct minerality we keep mentioning, wet stone, chalk, flinty notes.
And on the palate?
Vibrant acidity, definitely. Light to medium body, typically dry, and a crisp mineral finish. Very refreshing.
Okay, and what about those intriguing orange wines? How different are they?
Dramatically different. If you try an orange Ribolla Gialla, the aromas really evolve. You're looking at dried apricot, fig, orange peel, honey, black tea, nuts, maybe ginger, saffron. Often those earthy or subtle oxidative notes adding complexity.
And the taste and feel?
You'll feel the structure, those subtle tannins we talked about.
Yeah.
It'll have more weight, medium to full body, and the finish is usually long, really complex. These are wines that reward patience too. They can develop incredibly complex tertiary notes, those aromas from bottle aging.
Tertiary notes, like what?
Things like acacia honey, tobacco, resin, even hints of forest floor. Sometimes this happens over 5, 10, 15 years, even longer in some cases.
Wow. So that brings us to aging potential. It sounds like these aren't just drink now wines, especially the orange ones. What gives them that ability to age so gracefully?
It's really a combination of things. That high natural acidity is key. Then there's the phenolic structure from the tannins, especially in the orange wines extracted during maceration. And finally, that controlled oxidative evolution during winemaking. Those elements together kind of acts like a natural preservation system. They allow the wine to develop all those layers of complexity over time.
Any tips for tasting? Temperature? Glassware?
Good question. For the fresh styles, definitely serve them chilled, say 8 to 10 degrees Celsius, like 46, 50 Fahrenheit. Orange wines, though, benefit from being slightly warmer, maybe 12 to 14 Celsius, so 54, 57 Fahrenheit. That really helps those complex aromas open up.
And the glass. Does it matter?
It absolutely can. For fresh styles, your standard medium bold white wine glass is fine. But for orange wines, I'd recommend something larger. A burgundy-style glass, or even a good universal glass. Gives the aromas room to breathe and expand. And one last tip. For orange wines, particularly younger ones, think about decanting. Maybe 30 minutes, even up to an hour. It can really help them open up, soften any initial tannic grip. It can totally transform the experience.
Right, let the wine stretch its legs a bit.
Exactly.
So connecting this to the bigger picture, you mentioned pairing versatility earlier. How does this grape, especially in its orange form, really expand our options with food?
It offers just exceptional versatility, mainly because of that vibrant acidity and elegant minerality. And like we said, those subtle tannins in the orange wines, they open doors to dishes that are usually pretty tough for white wines.
You could give us some examples. What about the fresh style first?
Okay, for fresh Ribolla Gialla, Think classic Friulian food. Delicate whitefish branzino or rata steamed or grilled. Raw seafood, oysters, scallop carpaccio, seafood risotto. Fresh cheeses work really well too. Montasio fresco, ricotta, mozzarella, prosciutto di San Daniele, of course. Light vegetable soups, asparagus dishes. It's a great match for that kind of lighter, fresher fare.
Makes sense. And the orange style. That sounds like where the adventure begins.
Totally. The orange Ribolla Gialla is where pairings get really adventurous. It complements richer, more complex dishes beautifully. Think grilled or roasted white meats chicken with Mediterranean herbs, maybe roasted pork, stews, mushroom dishes, like a good porcini risotto. Fantastic.
Nice.
And here's where it gets really interesting and widely celebrated. Asian cuisine. Now, I have to ask, when you talk about pairing orange Ribolla Gialla with something like kimchi, for some listeners, that might sound kind of wild.
It does, doesn't it? But honestly, it's where the magic happens. I've personally been amazed at how well these wines stand up to those big, bold flavors.
Exactly. That acidity and the subtle tannins in the orange style, it's precisely what you need to cut through the spice, the fermentation in kimchi. It's truly a revelation. Works brilliantly with Japanese food, too fatty sushi or sashimi, tempura, miso, Korean like kimchi and bulgogi, mild to medium Indian curries, Thai dishes with that amazing balance of sweet, salty, sour, spicy, plus all the aromatic herbs.
So it handles spice and complexity really well.
Extremely well. It's also fantastic with cured and blue cheeses, pecorino, parmigiano reggiano, taleggio, even some blues like gorgonzola or roquefort. The wine's acidity just cuts right through the richness. And don't forget spiced and herbal dishes. Anything with ginger, saffron, cumin, cilantro, mint, rosemary, thyme, even smoky elements. The orange Ribolla Gialla can handle it and often elevates the whole dish.
Okay, my mouth is watering now. So after all that delicious discussion, where do we actually find this white jewel, and who are some key producers we should look out for?
Well, Ribolla Gialla really thrives across several key denominations of origin, the DOCs or DOPs, in Friuli-Venezia Giulia. The Colli Orientali del Friuli DOC, or DOP, is often seen as the epicenter. Known for that Ponca soil, offers a huge range of styles, still, sparkling, and of course, orange wines. It even has the prestigious Rosato subzone within it.
Right, that's a key area. Then you've got the Collio Goriziano DOC, or just Collio DOC, it borders Slovenia, also rich in Ponca soil. It's really celebrated for structured, elegant, age-worthy whites, and definitely some innovative orange wines coming out of there too. You'll also find Ribolla Gialla and Friuli-Venezia DOC. Those tend to be a bit fruitier, and Friuli-Grave DOC, often lighter, more everyday styles. It's worth remembering that these DOC regulations govern production. They set rules for the area, the grapes, yields, alcohol levels, winemaking, aging, all that stuff. But interestingly, some producers making orange wines might actually declassify them. They might label them vino da tavola, or just vino.
Why would they do that?
To maintain creative freedom, really. Current regulations don't always fully cover things like super extended maceration or using ancestral vessels like amphorae. So it's this fascinating kind of dance between tradition, innovation, and the rulebook.
That makes sense. Pushing boundaries.
Exactly. Now, for some producers to look for, if you're interested in the orange wine pioneers, definitely seek out Josko Gravner. He's in Oslavia, in Collio. The visionary of the amphora, people call him. Inspired by Georgian Kvevri. His wines are incredibly deep amber, complex, built to last.
A legend.
Absolutely. Then there's Stanko Redikon, also Oslavia, Collio, known for powerful, structured amber wines, really rich complexity. And Damijan Podversik from Gorizia, his focus is more on elegance and depth. Very minimal intervention.
All top names for that style.
Definitely. If you prefer traditional or fresh styles, look for Livio Faluca from Colli Orientali, a true classic of Friulian elegance.
Right.
Fresh, mineral, just timeless wines. German from Collio, known for sophisticated, modern, very pure white wines. And VD Romans from Esanzo, they produce really structured, age-worthy Ribolla Gialla.
Good reference points for the fresher side.
For sure. Other notables. Ronco della Nemes makes elegant mineral wines. Miani, very rare, exceptional concentration. And across the border in Slovenia, Arjan Simičić is a key reference for Ribolla. And we should mention the producer associations, like the Consorzio Tutela Vinicolio and the one for Colli Orientali del Friuli. They play a huge role in protecting the origin, promoting quality, funding research, boosting marketing and wine tourism. They're like the guardians of the grape, really.
Yeah, they're vital. But despite this incredible resurgence and unique appeal, Ribolla Gialla still faces some real challenges, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. What do you see as the main hurdles?
Well, climate change is a big one. It impacts that natural acidity, can lead to earlier ripening and those
Hmm.
compact clusters. They increase the risk of rot, especially with more extreme or unpredictable weather.
So growers have to adapt.
Constantly innovating with canopy management, maybe different vineyard site selections. Then there's market competition. It's still a niche variety, right? It's competing against globally known grapes, often much cheaper wines. So there's this constant need to educate consumers about what makes it special, why it's worth seeking out.
And the orange wine perception.
Exactly. Still a challenge. Demystifying that singular, incredible style for a broader audience. That's key. It's not just a fad, it's deeply rooted.
Right.
But, despite these hurdles, I think the future for Ribolla Gialla looks incredibly promising. There's ongoing research, clone selection, cultivation techniques. Plus, you see this growing consumer interest in authentic wines, wines that really speak of their place, their terroir.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think it has a very bright path forward. It truly holds its own.
Absolutely. Well, we've certainly journeyed through centuries of history today, explored unique terroirs, marveled at its winemaking versatility, and discovered this incredible range of flavors and pairings that Ribolla Gialla offers. For anyone out there seeking wines with real character, with history, with a true sense of place, Ribolla Gialla offers a unique and I think truly rewarding experience. This isn't just about drinking Rhine, is it? It feels like connecting with a resilient tradition and also a pioneering spirit.
Well said.
So maybe something for you to consider. In an era where wine can sometimes feel increasingly homogenous globally, how does a grape like Ribolla Gialla, with its deep roots and its bold innovations, challenge our perceptions of what a white wine can even be? And maybe, what does its journey teach us about the value of preserving these unique regional identities? Something to think about.